If you live in Rosemont, you probably know the big vacant piece of land where the old Orlando golf course used to be. And if you've lived here for a while, you probably also heard about the massive redevelopment that's supposed to be coming there. It's called the RoseArts District. But here's the thing. We've been hearing about RoseArts for years. So what's actually happening? And more importantly, what could this development, this large, mean for the people who already own homes there? I'm Michelle Bell, a Central Florida Realtor, but I'm also invested in Rosemont. So I'm watching from both sides. And there are some things I think homeowners need to know. This isn't just another builder building an apartment complex. We're talking about the redevelopment of approximately 128 acres that used to be the Lake Orlando Golf Course and Country Club. The current approved plan includes up to 5,650 multifamily residential units, 350,000 square feet of commercial space, and as much as 65 acres of parks and green space. This project is planned in 3 major phases, which are broken into 9 smaller subphases. And the commercial component could potentially include restaurants, retail, offices, healthcare, recreation, art studios, and business. There's also plans for walking and bike trails, EV charging stations, and additional transportations. So when I say that this could change Rosemont, I mean it could literally change the way this neighborhood looks, feels, and functions. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If you followed RoseArts over the years, you may remember hearing that construction was supposed to begin much sooner. The developer's master plan actually lists an estimated phase 1 groundbreaking in 2024, phase 2 in 2026, and phase 3 in 2028. Obviously, we're in 2026 now. And we're not there yet. According to the city of Orlando, the development received an extension after delays related to several hurricanes and tropical storms. The deadline for phase 1 building permits were extended to October of 2028. The developer also submitted its phase 1 subdivision plat application in May of 25. So the project hasn't disappeared, but the timeline has changed. And according to the city's latest published project information, the actual timing of phase 1 construction will ultimately be determined by the developers. That's important because there's a big difference between what has been approved and what is actually being built. Phase 1 alone is significant. We're talking about approximately 38.5 acres with around 1,500 residential units and 150,000 square feet of non-residential development. And those residential units include 160 planned affordable housing. And another interesting piece is that before phase 2 and phase 3 can actually move forward, the city says certain city connected to phase 1 have to be evaluated. Things like school capacity, utilities, parks and open spaces, and transportation and traffic. And as somebody who is invested here, this is something that I'm going to be watching. Because adding thousands of residents doesn't just mean new buildings, it means people, cars, students, businesses, infrastructure changes, and potentially thousands of people using the same roads and services that current residents already use. This is probably the question homeowners care about most. Michelle, is this going to make my house worth more? Maybe. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the RoseArts automatically means your property values are going to go up. Real estate doesn't work that way. What a project like this can do is change the perception and desirability of the area. Think about Rosemont, what we have now. We have Lake Orlando. We're relatively close to downtown Orlando, College Park, Winter Park, and Maitland. But we haven't historically had the same restaurants, retail, walkability, and lifestyle amenities that you find in some of those surrounding areas. RoseArt potentially changes that. If you suddenly have restaurants, shops, trails, parks, and other amenities minutes from your house, Rosemont may become attractive to buyers who weren't previously looking here. And when buyer demand for an established neighborhood increases, that can create an upward pressure on property values over time. But that's the opportunity. There's also things we need to watch. More development could mean more traffic, more congestion, more pressure on infrastructure, construction disruption, and potentially changes in the overall cost of living in the area. There's already a bigger conversation about affordability. Rosemont is located within a federally designated opportunity zone, which was created to encourage private investment in areas that historically have received the same level of investment. That's an opportunity. But whenever substantial investment starts flowing into established communities, there's another question we have to ask. Who ultimately benefits from that investment? Existing homeowners benefit in property value appreciation. A local business could benefit from more customers. The community could benefit from improved amenities and infrastructure. But rising values can also mean higher costs. And renters, seniors, long-term residents, and families with limited income can experience neighborhood change very differently. So I'm not looking at RoseArt as simply this is great or this is terrible. It's more complicated than that. If you're an investor, you're probably already thinking, should I buy in Rosemont? And I understand why. Large-scale redevelopment can absolutely put surrounding neighborhoods on investors' radar. But I would be careful about buying something simply because RoseArts is coming. Remember what I said earlier. This project has already experienced timeline changes. Real estate investing needs to make sense based on today's numbers, not just what we hope an area looks like 5 or 10 years from now. The better question isn't, will Rosemont make me money? It's, does this property make sense as an investment today? With RoseArts being a potential long-term upside. That's a very different conversation. The RoseArts website discussed Florida's Live Local Act, and it says that by utilizing density bonuses available under the law, the site could potentially accommodate substantially more resident density than the current approved 5650 units. Their website references the potential as many as over 25,000 residence units. Now, before anybody panics, that doesn't mean an additional 25,000 apartments are going to come to the current Rosemont area. The city's current project page still identifies the approved RoseArts plan, which was the 5,600 plus units. But it tells me something important. This area is being looked at very differently than it was 10 or 20 years ago. And that's why I think Rosemont owners should be paying attention now instead of waiting until construction equipment shows up. You don't have to sell your house. You don't have to buy an investment property, and you definitely don't need to make a decision based on speculation. But you should know what's happening around your biggest asset. Know what your home is worth. Watch what's selling around you. Pay attention to zoning and development decisions. Watch what happens with phase 1. And then understand how investment coming into the neighborhood could affect your equity and your long-term plans. Because sometimes the biggest change in real estate happens before everybody starts talking about them. And that's exactly why I am following the RoseArts. I'm Michelle Bell, Central Florida Realtor, and invested resident into Rosemont. On this channel, we'll be going deep in talking about what's happening in Central Florida neighborhoods, what it could mean for homeowners and investors, and how you can use this information to make better real estate decisions. Because of me, real estate isn't just about buying and selling homes, it's about building equity and leaving legacies. If you live in Rosemont, I especially want to hear from you. And are you excited about Rosemont and the RoseArts? Are you concerned about it? Or are you like, Michelle, I've been hearing about this thing forever. Call me when the bulldozers show up. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to keep following RoseArts, as the project moves forward, subscribe. Because I will be updating this story as things change. Peace.